Hello racing fans and a warm welcome to Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best, bet with WSB. Well, I trust that you're well, you're having a fair week, and hopefully everything goes according to plan this weekend, where we got two race meetings to look forward to. We race at the Big T on Saturday, and then we move on to Greyville on Sunday, where we race on the poly track. So what I've done for this weekend show, I've picked out two horses at Turffontein, two horses at Greyville, and there'll be two trebles up on the World Sports Betting menu. Okay, and where we go with our four horses to follow, and it is the 15th of June this Saturday, Turffontein Inside Track. Race number 2 is where our day will begin, and it will begin with number 1, Tizona. Tony Peter and Craig Zaki will team up well. Firstly, compliments to Tony Peters, having an outstanding run with these horses since he's taken out the reins from his dad, Paul. Just a wonderful run with these horses, and this horse is in excellent form. As the horse that has had 5 runs for the stable, for 2 wins and 2 seconds, and the one run where the horse visited Greyville, now everything went wrong that day, so you can't read much into that effort. That was the only blemish to his career with Tony Peter. So he's having his first run on the inside track, and I think the big plus here is the draw. He's drawn 2, and the way he raced last time out, he was forward from a bad draw, drawn 8 out of 8 on the Turffontein standside track with Craig Zaki. He went to the front and he led for most of the way, and he just tied very late in that race. He was beaten by Atticus Finch, and a positive ride again will be expected from Craig Zaki, who knows the horse well. He's partnered him 3 times in his career for 2 seconds and a third, so he'll be hoping to hit the bullseye with number 1, Tizona, and I think whatever beats him will win. There is some form to work around in this merit-rated 90 handicap, which is a B division class, but I personally think that if everything goes according to plan from the draw, he is the horse to beat. So race number 2, horse number 1, Tizona. Then we move along to race number, let's get that right, yep, it is race number 5, and in the 5th race, it is a maiden plate over 1200 meters, and I think my selection here will be priced up as the favorite. It's called Viva Spirit. Johan Janse van Vieren teams up with Gavin Lerena. Now, first time out at Turffontein over 1000 meters, the horse was quietly fancied in the betting at around 9-2. And it was a pleasing introduction, considering that he was inexperienced. He did not get the best of breaks. In fact, he was slow away towards the back of the field for most of the way. But he started to grab your attention over the final 200 meters, under 3 lengths behind Brosnan. Now, the form line of that race has held up exceptionally well, with King Rahul and Nera both coming out to win. And I think that is a form line to follow when it comes to these young horses. He's got a nice draw of 2, and with Gavin Lerena having had a good feel for him last time out, I'm just hoping that that draw 2 is not going to be wasted this time around. I think that first run would have brought him on a lot, so hopefully he's more sharp and more alert when the starter says go. Number 9, Viva Spirit. And I just think that on the strength of his form line, with natural improvement from one run to the next. By the way, Brosnan did come out to run 2nd next time out as well, Brosnan being the winner of the race where Viva Spirit debuted. So there's lots of positive, and whilst these are all young improving horses, I'm going to be with number 9, Viva Spirit, in race 5 at Turffontein. So that's it for Turffontein. We've done it, our 2 horses there. And then the 2 horses are picked out for Greyville on Sunday. It's going to be Canamea and DeMello with both these runners. Now, the day will begin at Greyville in race number 3 with a filly called Shantastic. Canamea and DeMello, as I mentioned, for the Hollywood Syndicate, who've had a wonderful season, so compliments to them. And they got this filly, the winner of the Amsam Stakes, and she won that in very good style, beating Canadian Summer. And we know that Canadian Summer was the champion juvenile filly last season. The next two starts after she was upped up in the ratings from a 90 to a 101, Dean Kannemeyer has tried her against some of the best of her generation in the World Sports Betting South African Fillies Guineas and the Tibushina Stakes at her last start. And she wasn't in disgrace in both those races, under 4 lengths behind Peach Daiquiri and 4.5 lengths behind Humdinger. I think those were fair runs. Now, the average rating of both those races for you was a 102 and a 103. And when you look at the average rating of this field, it's a 91. So she is stepping down in class, having contested those feature races. And against this field of fillies and mares over this 1400 meter trip, there'll be no issue with her on the surface. She's 1 from 1 on the poly track. Slight concern will be the draw. She's drawn 10 out of the 12 runners, but we'll leave that up to Demelo, who knows her best. And number 1, Fantastic, taking on a competitive field. There's lots of form to work around, but I think she will be a decent price because the way they will bet in this race is around, I would say, 9-2 the field. And I think number 10, Fantastic, will be good value against this type of field, the fact that she's dropping down in class. So race number 3, horse number 10, Fantastic. And then the next of our runners on Sunday comes up in race number 6, and I mentioned that we'll be relying on Kannemeyer and Demelo because I like a horse here. This is the Itiquini Sprint. It's for 3-year-olds. It's over 1200 meters and lots of quality in the race. But I just feel we haven't seen the best of the horse that I have selected, called USA's Hope. If you draw a line through his second start, which was in that Bloodstock South Africa Sales Cup, which was very early on in his career as a young 2-year-old, and then you can't fault his form. In fact, it's faultless. He's a 2-time winner. He's got 4 places from his 7 starts. And his last 2 runs back in the province have been good efforts. I know it's been costly to follow for his guys that have gone for him, but he's run good races. Close up behind Look for Hounds, 3rd. Close up behind Beechamwood Boy, 3rd. So number 4, USA's Hope, on the poly track for the first time. He's cracked a good draw of 4. And again, you know, whilst I speak about it being competitive, because there is form to recommend amongst the other runners, he's the horse that makes the most appeal for me. And I keep going back to his back-to-back wins. And I think the ability is certainly there. And whatever the result of this race, which I'm hoping is a winning result, I think he's a horse that we're going to have to follow as a 4-year-old, number 4. USA's Hope. And that's it, guys. Those are our 4 runners to follow. 2 for DKR and Keegan Demelo on Sunday, and we got the 1 for Paul Peter and the other for Jan Janse van Vieren on the Saturday. And hopefully it all goes according to plan. And to wrap up, as always, on behalf of World Sports Betting, thanks to all the punters, but more importantly and more especially, thanks to you, the valued customer. Hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful weekend for you. Huge profit, a success, and until next week, you take care.